The air was electric, charged with whispers and flashes of camera lights, as the city of Seoul prepared for what many were already calling the wedding of the century. Kim Jong-kook and Song Ji-hyo, two pillars of Korean entertainment and beloved icons of Running Man, had chosen this night to seal their destinies together. For fans across the globe, it wasn't just another celebrity wedding, it was the culmination of over a decade of laughter, tears, endless games, and undeniable chemistry that had bloomed in front of millions of viewers. Yet amid all the fanfare, one figure stood out as both guest and storyteller. The man whose voice has long guided Korea through countless shows and unforgettable moments, Yoo Jae-suk. His presence alone was a guarantee of gravity. But when he revealed the personal reason why he could not, under any circumstance, miss this wedding, the world held its breath. From the very start of the ceremony, the atmosphere was surreal. The venue, a luxurious hotel ballroom adorned with cascading white orchids and soft golden light, glimmered like a scene straight from a dream. Celebrities from every corner of KB's arrived in waves, each greeted by a frenzy of reporters desperate to capture their reactions. But for the millions watching online, their eyes were fixed on the emotional reunion of the Running Man family. It felt as though the variety show that had shaped an entire generation of television was stepping out of the screen and into real life, blending fiction and reality in one unforgettable moment. Song Ji-hyo, dressed in an elegant lace gown that radiated grace and understated sophistication, walked the aisle with a quiet dignity that made even the toughest hearts falter. Kim Jong-kook, in a tailored suit that mirrored his strong and disciplined persona, stood waiting with an expression that betrayed the stoic image fans had known for years. His eyes shimmered with tears as he watched Ji-hyo approach. The audience leaned forward, captivated by the emotions on display. And then, as the ceremony reached its crescendo, Yoo Jae-suk stepped forward. The man affectionately known as the nation's Mick wasn't just a guest, he was a witness, a mentor, and a guardian of the bond that had carried these two stars through more than 14 years of friendship, rumors, and unspoken affection. Taking the microphone, he began to speak, his voice steady yet tinged with unmistakable emotion. "Tonight," he said, pausing as if to collect the weight of his words, "I am not here as the Mick you know from television. I am here as a brother, as a friend, and as someone who made a promise many years ago. That promise is why I could never miss this day." The room fell into silence. Guests who had been whispering suddenly froze. Cameras zoomed in, capturing every flicker of expression on his face. The curiosity was palpable. What promise had tied Yoo Jae-suk so intimately to this wedding? He began to recount moments that had long remained hidden behind the curtain of broadcast entertainment. He spoke of the early days of Running Man in 2010. When the cast members were still learning to trust one another, when ratings were uncertain, and when friendships were still fragile. He remembered how Kim Jong-kook's quiet discipline balanced Ji-hyo's fierce spontaneity, how they clashed in challenges yet always seemed to circle back to one another. "It was there," he admitted. "Saw something more than just teamwork. I saw two people whose bond was deeper than even they realized." As his speech unfolded, the audience was taken on a journey through the history of the show itself. Yoo Jae-suk recalled the hardships, the near cancellations, the controversies, moments when Running Man seemed to stand on the edge of collapse. He shared how, during one of those turbulent times, the cast gathered privately, away from cameras, reaffirmed their unity. It was during that gathering, Yoo Jae-suk revealed, light-hearted conversation about love and the future turned into something more serious. "I remember joking that if Jong-kook and Ji-hyo ever ended up together," he said with a soft chuckle, "I would make sure to be there. No matter where I was. No matter what I was doing." The words hit the audience like a thunderclap. What had once been a playful remark had transformed into a vow. A sacred promise sealed by years of shared struggles and triumphs. Yoo Jae-suk's confession explained everything, his tears, his urgency, his insistence on being present. He wasn't just attending a wedding. He was fulfilling a promise born out of family, loyalty, and love. As he spoke, the camera panned to Kim Jong-kook. His jaw trembled with emotion, and Song Ji-hyo blinked back tears while clutching her husband's hand. Later described the moment as one of the most touching in KB's history, a collision of the scripted world of television with the raw authenticity of human bonds. Outside the venue, fans who couldn't be inside held banners, waved light sticks, and streamed the ceremony on their phones. Pouring through their tears, On social media, hashtags exploded: Spart Ace Wedding, Yoo Jae-suk Promise, Running Man Family Forever. Within minutes, clips of Yoo Jae-suk's speech went viral, amassing millions of views and sparking discussions worldwide. Yet even as the celebrations continued, one question lingered in everyone's minds: what else did Yoo Jae-suk reveal that night? Was there more to this promise than he had shared publicly? Why did his words carry the weight of something hidden? Something that seemed to reshape the meaning of the wedding itself? The answer would come later. In whispers, testimonies, behind-the-scenes revelations that only deepened the legend of this once-in-a-lifetime event. The following morning, headlines dominated every major news outlet. The deeper story began to emerge. Journalists and insiders who attended the wedding shared fragments of Yoo Jae-suk's private words, spoken off-stage when the cameras had already shifted away. These whispers painted a fuller picture of the bond between Yoo Jae-suk, Kim Jong-kook, and Song Ji-hyo, and of the extraordinary reason he insisted on being part of their wedding. Behind closed doors, as guests mingled after the ceremony, Yoo Jae-suk reportedly approached the couple with a heartfelt reminder. He spoke of a night years ago, when Running Man had faced a crisis of survival. Ratings were low. Producers considered pulling the plug. Cast members gathered late into the night to decide their future. In that room, Yoo Jae-suk had asked each member what kept them going. For Kim Jong-kook, it was the camaraderie. For Ji-hyo, it was the sense of belonging. And for Yoo Jae-suk, it was the belief that their bond went beyond television. That someday they would look back not just as colleagues but as family. It was during that night that the promise was truly forged. If the day comes when you two stand together not just as teammates, but as partners in life, Yoo Jae-suk had said, there to witness it. No matter where life takes me. That vow had stayed unspoken, hidden from fans, buried in the folds of their private lives. Until now, the revelation hit fans with a wave of emotion. Plain the tears in Yoo Jae-suk's eyes, the trembling in his voice, the almost sacred air of his presence at the wedding. He wasn't simply a guest of honor, he was the keeper of a promise. The final link tying the history of Running Man to this new chapter of Jong-kook and Ji-hyo's life. Other cast members echoed this sentiment during the reception. Suk-jin admitted that he, too, had known about the promise but never imagined it would come true. Haha. Known for his playful nature, confessed that the wedding felt less like a social event and more like a family milestone. It's as if we closed one book, he said, only to open another, with Jae-suk Hyung right there turning the page for us. As fans processed the depth of these revelations, the symbolism of the wedding grew. Commentators described it as the ultimate Running Man episode. One that no camera could script, no producer could stage. It was a living testament to the power of loyalty, love, and shared history. International fans, many of whom had grown up watching the show, wrote essays, fan art, and emotional posts. This wedding isn't just theirs. One fan wrote on Twitter, belongs to all of us who laughed and cried with them for 14 years. Yoo Jae-suk's role, too, gained new significance. Known for his professionalism and wit, he was now seen as the guardian of the Running Man legacy. Refusal to miss the wedding, his public confession of the promise, and his private reaffirmation behind the scenes turned him into the symbolic father figure of the Running Man family. Even beyond the entertainment industry, cultural analysts highlighted the moment as a rare example of television friendships transcending the screen into real, enduring family bonds. Toward the end of the reception, Yoo Jae-suk gave one final toast. Lifting his glass, he addressed not only the couple but also the legacy they represented. This marriage, he declared, just about two people. It's about the journey of all of us. After we shared the struggles we endured, and the promise that no matter what, remain together. His voice cracked as he finished with the words, today, that promise is alive. Erupted in applause. Jong-kook and Ji-hyo embraced him tightly, tears streaming down their faces, and for a moment, felt as though the entire history of Running Man had been distilled into a single embrace. When the night drew to a close, guests departed with hearts full, carrying with them the weight of something more than just a wedding. Outside, fans lingered, still singing Running Man theme songs, still holding banners, still crying tears of joy. Online, story spread like wildfire, with headlines in multiple languages capturing the essence of the night. Yoo Jae-suk keeps 14-year promise at Spart Ace wedding. Nation Meg becomes family witness. Man forever. For Yoo Jae-suk, the wedding was more than a duty. It was destiny. His decision to attend was not about fame, not about obligation, but about honoring a vow that symbolized the very heart of what Running Man had always stood for: unity, resilience, and love. As the lights dimmed on the greatest wedding KB's had ever seen, one truth remained crystal clear: Yoo Jae-suk could never have missed it. Because this wedding was not just a personal celebration. It was the final, shining chapter of a promise written 14 years ago. A story that would continue to inspire fans for generations. And as fans around the world whispered through their tears and laughter, one phrase echoed louder than all others: Running Man is forever. And this wedding was proof.